Rambam, at the end of the second chapter, is telling you what you should not be. You should not have the expansive type of personality, meaning that you have tremendous need to be satisfied, material need. That you become excited about, you start salivating when it comes to material opportunity or material in general. I remember many years ago, I was invited to a Chanukah Sabayis of somebody's home. And I was there together with David Lobel. And this home, I'm sure none of you have ever seen anything like this, because there's nothing comparable to it. It's built like Versailles. That's the architecture. And it's something magnificent. It's not, person say, it has gold lamps. It's just everything. It's a whole different aura of setting with fountains and land and gardens and everything. And I was there with David Lobel, and it was a beautiful, Divrei Torah was said, this and that. And when you first see it, like you're taken aback. You've never seen such beauty in terms of architecture, shrubbery, fruit trees, everything. The expanse. It's on the ocean out in the Hamptons. 88 acre estate in the Hamptons. And you walk through like a gate. It's like the Arch of Triumph, but a smaller replica of this. And you look out and you see lions made of concrete, cast in concrete. I said to David Lobel, it's impressive, isn't it? I said, in 5 minutes, you're no longer going to be impressed. Once you see it once, you're not impressed any longer. You're taken aback because you've never seen anything like it. You're touched. We're all human. We're touched by beauty. We're touched by something expansive. But a person who, this is what he waits for and wants, whenever he sees it, he's touched. But if that's not what your objective is, that you're interested in that, initially, it's beauty. Everybody's touched by beauty. But once it passes, once you've experienced it, it means nothing. It's like somebody shows you his Rolls Royce and has every comfort and the way it's made, precision, quality. But if you're not interested in that, it's interesting and you understand what it is, but you're not impressed. You know why you're not impressed? Because you have no interest in that. You're only taken by something that you have an interest in. And that's what the Rambam says. A person who's nefesh rechova, you have this expansive need for material and you have an interest. When you come upon that kind of situation, you become overwhelmed. You become excited. You begin salivating. Therefore, he says, even if you have a good eye, tone it down. Be less involved in the material, in earning. And your Torah should be what? Should be primary. And then you'll rejoice in the little bit that you have. Otherwise, as we explained yesterday, you're always looking to make up what you don't have, rather than focusing on what you do have. And even if you have less, you could be happy and rejoice with the less. That's what we left off yesterday. You shouldn't be a quarrelsome person. Some people, you meet them, everything becomes an issue. Bal ketoto, always quarreling. There's always a degree of fractalization when this person gets involved in the equation. You shouldn't be there. You shouldn't be that kind of person. V'lo bal kino, this is very important. You should not be a person who's jealous. Jealousy is corrosive. It's corrosive for the person, and it's corrosive for the person who that person is jealous of. Why? Because we speak about ayin hara, bad eye. A bad eye creates negative energy. When you're touched with negative energy, it becomes a problem. So yes, you should not be a balkino. You shouldn't be a person who's envious, a little baltaiva. You shouldn't be a person who's a person who has tremendous desires. Certain people are honor seekers. Every decision they make is coupled. How do I get ahead? And that's a primary part of everything you do in life. How do you get ahead at work, in community? Why do you do? What is the impetus? What motivates you? What motivates you, your drive, is what is covered, is honor. You should not pursue honor. It's something very negative. Kach omru chachomim. There's a Mishnah Pirkei Avos. Hakino va'taiva va'kovod. Envy, desire, and honor is the honor seeker. Motzias odom and olam. It actually takes you out of this world. It destroys your life. We make many decisions which cost us our lives, our careers, our successes, and even our physical life, and definitely the world to come. If you allow yourself to succumb to any one of these things, envy, honor, it's irrelevant to you if it's right or wrong. But if I'll be acknowledged, I'm there. I don't like to talk politics, especially when I have certain people on the Zoom. There's a person by the name of Schumer. He's a Jew. I'm not talking about American politics. I'm talking positions which affect the Jewish people. Israel. This guy, he sold his soul to the devil for the honor and the glory of what he's getting in the Senate. You understand? That's what he did. He sold his soul to the devil. Every Jew who is killed on the battlefield in Israel, he has his hand in that because he's part of this administration. And he has a voice, and he could speak up, or he could protest and quit politics if he's that kind of Jew. But you know what kind of honor he has? He and Pelosi, they could fight with Trump and spit Trump in the face, even in the Oval Office. And he speaks with an arrogance. But what's driving him? Kavod, honor. It takes you out of this world. You forfeit your share in the world to come because of this. Not only that, if every decision is based on where does this get me? Because I want to get there. So what is of course, a person convinces himself and deludes himself that he's in the right. That's conflict of interest, what conflict of interest does to a person. Therefore, you should not be envious. The law is, if a person sees an item, a property, anything, and you want that item, and you're even willing to pay for it, and you pressure the person, and you don't let up, and the person agrees to sell to you because he just wants to get you off his back. But basically, you put him in a position that he prefers not to, but because of the interaction, he succumbs to your pressure and you sell it. That person is in violation of two negative commandments. Lo tisaveh, lo tachmod. One of the 10 commandments. Do not covet your fellows, animal, property, wife, whatever it is. That's coveting. Coveting means that desire becomes so all-consuming that you need it, you must have it. And you will not leave a stone unturned until you have it. That's coveting your fellow's property. He covets this and covets other things. And there's no end to it. Klolo shel davar. What is the general rule of thumb in life? To walk the right path, that straight and narrow path. What is it? Yelech b'mida beinonis, shebechol deo v'deo. You should take the middle road, the equidistant point in every attribute, every predilection. Until you're balanced. You're equidistant from both sides, that you fully are able, you can employ your intelligence to make a rational, objective decision. Because if you're off to either side, it's not objective. You're tilted. There's a bias. Shlomo Omar, and this is the King Solomon, the wisest man who ever lived, says in Mishlei, in Proverbs, Haleis mago raglecha. In Hebrew, a pelvis is a scale. Weigh the paces of your feet. Every step you take, you should deliberate. Is it the right step or is it the wrong step? Person's going somewhere. Every step you take, you have to reconsider. Is it the right thing to do or is it the wrong thing to do? You have to continuously weigh it. And if you do that, all your pathways will be correct. There's a continuous evaluation. You don't do anything you don't do things reflexively. It's always weighing. The Ramchal, the Mesilas Yesharim, writes, if you have diamonds, the scale you weigh diamonds, the accuracy and the level of exactness is different than any other scale. Because every even fraction of a carat is precious, so therefore it makes a difference. Is it more or less? From the seller's point of view or the buyer's point of view? That it's the exactness. When you do a mitzvah, based on how you do it, a little more, a little less, a little more perfect, less perfect. And there's always advancing. It's no less than that. If a person quickly goes into something, we speak about you're supposed to do a mitzvah lishma, for the sake of God. To really feel that you're doing it due to your dedication, you have to take a pause, understand what you're about to experience, and then you have the right mindset to approach it responsibly, appropriately. Otherwise, you just jump into it. I always say, and it's something which is mind-boggling, in the history of the world, a sea never split. The Jews borrowed all the personal effects of the Egyptians, the gold, the silver. And then when they realized they're not coming back, they pursued them. And the Jews are caught between the sea and the Egyptian army, and all of a sudden God splits the sea. And the Jews go through it with great glory. The Egyptian army, the chariot corps, they just go straight into the sea. Between these walls of water that are flowing vertically, thousands and thousands of feet up, where all that whole area from hundreds of miles away, you were able to see the water. And these Egyptians, they don't even stop for a moment to be amazed by this spectacle. It never happened before in the history of this world. And they just go straight in. They're after the Jews. They want to get their silver and gold back. I mean, how do you not stop and pause and be amazed? This is the greatest miracle that ever took place. You know what the answer is? If you're not focused and the distraction is extreme enough, you could see the splitting of the sea and you don't realize it. And it means nothing. You may see the sea split, but you're not touched by it. To be touched by anything, you have to be deliberate and you have to pause. What's happening? Should I be impressed or not be impressed? Very often, you have something which has beautiful packaging, and you think it's value. And without doing research and opening it to see what's inside, you pay an exorbitant fee for it. You can't take it, you open it up, you see it's rotten, it's spoiled, it's not functional. Why? Because you're impressed by, there's an expression, don't judge a book by its cover. That's what it is. You're impressed. Because that's what you're impressed with. Another person who's well-weathered understands What's on the surface doesn't mean that's what it is. If you ever walk through a forest, and sometimes there are fallen trees, you step on a log, and it looks like it's solid, and it's all eaten out from the inside, insect infested. It's just a shell. You step on it, it just breaks. On the outside, it looks like a solid log, maybe 3 feet thick or more. You step on it, you go straight through, and you can even get hurt. You have to be careful what you step on. Is it as it seems to be or not? You go across a frozen lake. You just go across the lake. You know, the lake, when it's warm, is not, well, can't hold you up. Is the ice thick enough that it's going to hold you up? Do you go gently, or do you go just quickly, and you fall right through the ice? But that's what life is about. Every little thing. Pales, mago raglecho. Weigh, evaluate the paces of your feet. Anything you do in life, it has to be deliberated, has to be evaluated. Should I, should I not? And then if you do that, all your pathways are going to be correct. Chofetz Chaim writes in one location, Moshe Rabbeinu says to the Klal Yisrael in the last days of his life, Ma Hashem shol mi imach. What is God asking you? To love him, to revere him, to do his mitzvahs, to study his Torah. What is he asking of you? So the Chofetz Chaim says, the safest thing to do before you do anything in life, you ask yourself the question, what does God want? Does God want this? Does God not want this? In other contexts, it may be the right thing, but at this moment, is it the right thing or not the right thing? I'll give you an example. We say that the ultimate mitzvah is the study of Torah. But let's say you're confronted with a situation that another mitzvah, and you're the only one who's able to do the mitzvah. Nobody else, only you. Do you interrupt your Torah study to do that other mitzvah, which is of lesser value? The answer is yes. If it cannot be delegated through a third party, you have an obligation to interrupt your Torah study to attend to it. There are other times, if you could delegate it through a third party, or a third party could attend to it, you're not permitted. So every situation is a question, what does God want I should do at this moment? Should I, should I not? And the Chofetz Chaim writes, all your life, you have to ask yourself that question. What does God want? Does God want me to do this or do that? Or maybe do neither. Or maybe do both, and now I have to evaluate which is the more important thing to do at this moment. And if you go with that rule of thumb, which is this, the words of King Solomon, you have to continuously evaluate, weigh the paces of your feet. Be deliberate. If you approach life with this yardstick, you'll never go wrong. You're always going to go on that correct path.